Hi. Hi, welcome to Ollie's Corner. I'm Ollie. Here, I talk about personal experience in hopes to connect with others on a similar journey so they may feel seen. Please stay if you feel aligned. However, be prepared for possible ADHD ramblings. And if you hear any noise, the windows are open, cars are passing, someone just started weed whacking. It's 8 o'clock at night and there's kids outside playing and screaming. Oh, that feels really loud. Okay, I think the late night weed whacking session is over. But there are still people outside that you might be able to hear. But let's just get right into it. So I talked about this in the first video I filmed a little bit, but right now I have this general sense of stagnation, which has honestly been around me for the past 5 years. And I think that time frame is probably significant for other people as well. But in the past 5 years, I'd say they've been defined by a lot of self-growth and healing and a newfound keenness or liking for spirituality. And I really think over the course of those 5 years, I've become maybe not a completely new person, but I think I've definitely found my way home. A version of me that was more familiar when I was a child. And there were times throughout those years when I thought to myself, during all of that healing and that inner work, when I was like, okay, I'm ready now. I'm ready to step out into the world as whoever I was in that moment. And looking back now, I definitely wasn't ready. There was still more healing work and more inner work that I think needed to be done before I was ready to interact with the world in such a way, because I had been those 5 years were a period of isolation. And when I say isolation, I mean, I lived in Colorado. I live in Colorado, but I had no friends out there. So the only time I was really leaving my house was to go to work or the store or whatever, and I have friends back home in Pennsylvania where I'm actually at right now, but I'm not much of a texter. I don't really call people over the phone. So I wasn't even in constant communication with anyone. From my point of view, it really felt like I kind of fell off the face of the earth for 5 years, And I'd go and travel, but if it wasn't a family trip, it would just be a solo one. And when I would meet people on those solo trips, me being me, I wouldn't even keep in touch. So it was a very hermit period, very isolated, and I'm truly so grateful for it. And I think if this sounds anything like you, you're probably also so grateful that it happened, because within that time, I was able to cultivate a relationship with myself where now I feel comfortable more stepping out into the world because I have myself to fall back on, because I've laid that foundation of love, acceptance, and gentleness. So very grateful for those years of isolation. And like I said, there were times when I thought, oh, I'm ready to get out, but it wasn't time for me yet. But now, I mean, obviously there's always going to be more work to be done, but I struggle to think that there's so much more inner work that I can do on self without other. I think I've really come to a point in time where the other is important in my journey as a human being, which is like kind of scary because, you know, I am so comfortable kind of just being by myself and with myself 24/7. And so it's definitely strange to now be in a place where I'm like, it's time. It's really time to put myself out into the world. Because I'm so comfortable with it just being me. And the thing that I'm struggling with now, I don't know where to start. You know, all those years ago, when I was like, oh, I'm gonna like myself. I'm gonna get better with myself. One of the things I thought I would have figured out by now is what I want to do with my life. You know, what direction am I going in? And while I definitely have a better understanding of what I want out of life, it's like that clear path, those next steps are still so up in the air for me. I'm like, could it be this? Could it be that? It's like, it's hard to know. And so I actually pulled a card before I started this. I asked for something that anyone who's listening to this message needs to know. It's from this oracle deck called Divine Nature, and it is called Twirl. The card is of a girl in the middle of a forest with like lightning bugs around her. The sun is shining down on her and she's wearing an orange dress, floating in the air with her arms spread. Crazy, I just painted my nails orange. Well, an orange, pinky, sparkly color. I might need to do another coat because like you can see through to the nail, and it kind of makes it look like I just like was eating an orange, like peeling an orange, and now there's orange stuck into my fingernails. But that's not the point. I'm gonna read the card. So twirl. The secret to an enchanted life is to remember the playfulness at heart of the divine child. That child never went anywhere. It lives in you as a magnetic force, deeply influencing every creative thought, relationship, project, or endeavor. If you want to breathe new life into your adult world of responsibilities and requirements, engage your play. Allow yourself to spontaneously skip down the grocery aisle or stand outside in a rainstorm. Talk to the trees, or better yet, listen to them. Follow the fireflies, and then go another step further and put play on the schedule. Prioritize it. Court the wonders of the natural world, and you will playfully come to understand yourself as one of them. So what I get from that is ask your inner child. Like really go back and think about it. What did my inner child want out of life? For me, as like there's children like having fun outside my window. For me, I think back and like honestly, it's a struggle to remember things. But I know what did little me want? She wanted love. That was a big one. And honestly, I don't think she was ever super down for like a career. I think she just wanted to play all day. And I also know that even in the way you express yourself, like in your style, you know, that can even bring you more to wholeness. And so I think, because what me was wearing back in the day, stark difference to me today. You know, she was so out there. She didn't care if she was wearing like leopard print and hot pink or whatever. You know, she loved dresses and heeled sandals. I remember this like pink and white polka dotted dress. I was so obsessed with it for the longest time. And then somewhere along the way, I just got so wrapped up in everyone else, and I was just dressing to look like other people. So maybe that's a place to start. I know you can't always afford to go out and buy a whole new wardrobe. I certainly cannot. But even just to take stock of what you currently have, or maybe get rid of some clothes that you don't wear and you just bought because other people thought it was trendy and cool. Make room, create that space. So maybe you go thrifting and you find just a few pieces that really speak to your soul. You know, it's hard to figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life. And I honestly think that's, you know, kind of probably a Western ideal that we have that does not line up with a lot of people's personal experience. There is nothing for the rest of my life that I'm like, yep, that's it. There can be so many seasons and so many flavors of life. And I think the point of the whole clothing thing is to just get in touch with what feels right to you. You know, finding those pieces that speak to you, becoming aware of what that feeling is when something feels right. You know, whether you like her or not, I know opinions are mixed. I love Cynthia Erivo's like take on this. You know, she was in like high school or something, and she got offered, I think, to like sing at some school or like a position at some school, and she didn't know that was the path she was going to go down, but she asked herself, she was like, does this feel good to me? And it did. So she went. The next opportunity she got, she asked herself, does this feel good to me? And it did. So she went. And all of those opportunities that felt good ended up providing her with so much more in the future. And I think if you ever heard of Bashar, that's also what he says. It's to follow your enjoyment to its fullest extent. And I'm like, and the thing is, what I'm talking about is like, but what's my enjoyment? And he's like, if in the like, you have to be so in the moment and present in the moment, and it's hard. I get that. I think a great time to actually do it is in the morning. Something I try to do is no phone for at least an hour after I wake up, and I really don't be getting out of bed that quick. So I'm really just, you know, kind of there, laying with my thoughts. And it's a perfect time to really feel what I want within the day or in that moment. Like the other day I woke up it was warm outside, thank God. And I'm like, I really just want to go outside. I really just want to feel the sun on me. So that's what I did. And you know, that's what felt good in that moment. I don't know exactly what I got from that moment. But maybe, like I said, what I got from it is being aware of that feeling. So I can become more aware of that feeling throughout the day, at other moments of the days, and in opportunities that would usually leave me so questioning and like, I don't know, do I want this? What? Just to become more aware of that feeling. So, yeah. Consult your inner child. Maybe take the day and just be like, what would younger me really want to do like right now? I know not everyone has like the time to do that, but maybe like a weekend. You just pick that day to prioritize yourself. And then something that I tried today, there's so many manifesting techniques, and I think this falls under the law of assumption, kind of, is to what would like really visualize a future version of yourself and act like them. And what I struggled with in the past about this, like I said, is I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I kind of have to move away from the what and really look at who do I want to be. So I know I want to be healthy. I want to be able to age, into someone with a strong body who's really taking care of their body. I want to be someone with better endurance. I want to be loving and kind. I want to help others. I want to see other people when they don't feel seen. I want to create. I don't know what it is I want to create exactly, but I know creation is somewhere there. And so today, not concerning myself with the what, but just the who. I woke up with that mindset where, okay, I'm going to be that version of me who is already that person. And so I think today I was definitely like, what would she do? What would she do in this situation? And I think that will soon, hopefully, evolve into what would I do? Because, that lessens the separation or whatever. But so I really was hell-bent on that mindset kind of today. And so I woke up, no phone, and then I'm like, and I visualized myself last night just in random things. And so one of those things was like being a yoga teacher. So I woke up and I did some yoga. I want to have a stronger body. I want to have better endurance. So I went on a run. Was it a long run? No. Did I only run for a mile? Yes. Was it an 11-minute mile? Yes. But am I so proud of myself for getting out and doing it? Yes. Because I think because I'm not a runner, that fear of being perceived and being seen was really floating around in my head before I went out. And so that was like a perfect way to just be like facing that right off the bat. I'm not perfect at this. I'm probably gonna be out of breath and sweaty and having to stop a billion times. But I didn't, at the end of the day, I was like, but she wouldn't care, right? Because she already been doing this. And so it's about time I start doing this. And then I definitely tried to be on my phone a bit less. And then something I didn't even realize when I was talking about until just now, and I was like, I want to be the person who sees the unseen and helps when they need to be helped. I just saw this, I was driving to the grocery store and I saw this man who was carrying his bags home. He had a cane and he had to stop a lot. And I was like, do I get out and do I go help him? And I wasn't even thinking about it from this kind of perspective. But so I went over and I asked, did you need any help? He was like, no. But then he said, thank you for caring. And that kind of just clicked right now. I saw someone who I don't think felt they were being seen. And that's just so beautiful, isn't it? But yeah. I don't know if I have much more to say now. But I also spent more time outside. Oh, that was another thing that happened today. I was outside today, and honestly, I know for me, I wouldn't get out, like, especially when I was in high school, I would never go outside. I would spend all day inside, sad, lying in my bed. And then, even throughout my 5 years of isolation, I wouldn't go outside too much. And look, I don't fault anyone for not going outside in the cold, because, honey, that could just not be me. But when the sun is out and she feels warm on my skin, like, I just feel 10 times better when I'm outside. So if you can get outside just for a walk, and, like, you feel called to, and you feel, like, it's not going to be too hard on your body, and it, like, the weather supports you, which is really important to me. Like, go for it. And, it could be a walk with or without music. I recommend without, if, just to, like, really kind of get in touch with nature and the sounds around you. But anyways, I was outside today, and I was just sitting by my grandparents' cat, and I look over and I see this butterfly, and I was like, oh my god, that was a beautiful butterfly. It was like this yellow, big wings, like spots. There's a bit of blue on its wings too. And I noticed its wings are like a little broken. And it was like so windy outside, and it was just like struggling to stay upright. And so I'm like, how can I help this little butterfly? So I moved it somewhere else. And then I know it's probably never going to be able to fly again. And so I research, and I find this like old little birdhouse of my grandparents. I put some grass in it, some flowers, some strawberries in it, and I make a little house for the butterfly. Unfortunately, the butterfly didn't like it. I actually need to go check on it soon. It did not like it, but that's not the point. I also got it into a place that was less windy and just easier for it to be at. So once again, like, seeing the unseen, like, I wouldn't have seen that if I didn't put down my phone and just spend some time in the sun. And honestly, putting your feet on, like, the bare grass, just putting your bare feet on the grass on Mother Earth, it just feels so amazing. And, like, when I was young, like, I did not always like the feeling of grass on my feet. Like, I can be such a sensory person, and I did not like it, especially if the grass is wet. And, like, I still won't go into certain parts of, like, yards and places just because I'm like, I don't know if my feet are gonna like that. But just give it a little try if you want to connect more and, like, ground yourself more. But yeah, I think if you don't know where to go from here, I am right there with you. But just take the little steps. Think about a version of you from 20 years ago. Think about a version of you from 20 years from now. Allow their creativity to become yours. Take inspiration wherever you get it, and follow those little ideas that just pop into your head, even if they seem stupid. If they even bring you a modicum of enjoyment, just go for it. Give it a try, and don't worry about the outcome. Do it for the feeling of it, not for what could happen from it. And, like, that's, like, a big part of, like, letting go of the outcome. Everything's easier said than done, but just with mindful practice, you'll get there. Anyways, if this reaches you, thank you for listening and staying with me, and maybe enjoying voices from outside as well. I hope this finds you well, and I hope you feel so amazing. And I don't know. Love yourself, my guy. I'll see you later.